Hello, everybody, and welcome to a little pre-match chat. Just a little, just overview and preview of what's probably going to be a horrible day today because it's the toughest game on the calendar, no doubt. Man City, oh my God, to think that we're here from those League One days, slogging it out against Accrington and Cheltenham and all that, and now we're here facing quite possibly the biggest team in the world. That is absolutely outrageous. But I'm excited. I think there's going to be a fantastic occasion. I think McKenna and the boys are going to give it a right old go. And I'm not saying we'll get a result, but I think we'll surprise some people today. A lot of people suggesting very high score lines. I don't think McKenna's going to allow that. So we'll have a little chat through. I've got some interesting look at like three different formations that I've both put together myself, but also seen different variations of. We've also got key battles, just a few to look at, just see where the match could be won or what is going on here. Right, I think we're back. I think we're back. I think we're gaining. I think we're back to where we should be. Fantastic. Right. Let's keep this rocking. So yes, as I was saying, key battles, transfer roundup, and a little bit of predicted lineups going on here. So we'll just go through some of those. But let me know what you think below. I'll be very intrigued to see what you think of this because I think there's going to be definitely a lot of situations where we get absolutely nothing from the game. It's going to be a horrible, horrible situation. But at the same time, I think there's going to be a lot of moments where we get some joy. I don't think it's going to be 90 minutes of complete hammering from City. It will feel like that at times, but we'll get our moments, and I think it's about beating City as being clinical when you get those. So we'll go straight into it. We've got a few bits to look over. We've got initially the predicted lineups. Now, I do have three different graphics for this, just because we've got a bit of a difficulty knowing how we're going to line up. And one of them I saw on Twitter, so I've done my own graphic of it, but I will give credit to that. But I do see this as the most likely scenario, in my opinion. It's going to be the five back. It's going to be compact with two midfielders sitting in front. There's a lot of chat, and this will go into all of the graphics of Mass or Cayuste. I think it will be Mass. I think McKenna does believe in his system, and having players that can operate that system maybe outweighs talent. And Cayuste will absolutely get there. It takes a bit of time to learn the system, to learn the McKenna way, and that's it. But I think Luongo starts. Definitely believe that he will be subbed out, maybe a little bit earlier than last week, because you could see he got a little bit tired by the 60th minute, so maybe like a 55th minute sub or something. If we're defending constantly, it's going to be a horrible situation, so, he's got to continue to deal with that. It's going to be a tiring day, chasing the ball, closing every single little gap. So I do think Luongo starts, though. We go over the system. I agree it seems most likely as well. I think so. I think, we believe in the system. You trust the players that know the system, and then you can add a bit of quality as the game draws on. Now, obviously, with Burns out, if we are doing a five back, I think it makes it fairly clear that Johnson will take that right wing back / right wing spot. Depends when you're in possession or not, but I think he'll take that. Tuanzebe comes in. And the team really picks itself after that. There is a lot of stuff I've seen on Twitter of Schmodix coming in to the 10 with Omari. I'm in the same boat with the Cayuste situation. I think you just trust Chaplin, the guy, works his socks off for the team. I don't think you just change that straight away. But to know you've got Cayuste and Schmodix on the bench, people that can come in and make an impact, is huge. So I think this is how it starts for me. This is the formation I would have chosen. I'm no Kieran McKenna, but I'm just saying I think this is where my heart is set on that one. And then obviously there's the situation where McKenna goes a little bit more attacking, which would be the fullback scenario. Very similar, but the only change would be Schmodix comes in for Johnson, Hutchinson operates on that right wing spot, and Schmodix comes in on that left 10 for me initially. I don't think that's where he will be for the entire season, but whilst Broadhead's out, whilst that Clark deal gets finalised, I think by Fulham you'll see Clark in there. I think, he'll do a job in there. Absolutely. So this is the other option if you do decide to not sit in, which I think is a dangerous tactic to do against City. They pick you apart, they choose their moments, they're tenacious, they're hardworking, they've got everything you'd want not to face in a team. But this is what I would go for in that. But I just don't see it not being a 5-back. I don't see why we would have trialled it against Nice if it wasn't something we were looking to utilise for the year. And if you are going to utilise it, I don't see any other game bigger than this. Why would you not use it against City? They're the ones that are going to have the majority of the possession. They're the ones that are going to kill you the most if you leave gaps and leave spaces. They are so clinical. They're so just vicious with the ball that we need to be so careful. So this is another option. Now, there was one final option. I need to give credit to this, and I don't know if he came up with it, but it's where I saw it was False 9 Fanatic or Coley on Twitter suggesting this formation, which is a 3 or a 5, I suppose you could say. It's almost like a 3-5-1-1 or a 5-3-1-1, whatever you want. But it's that 3 in the middle of the park. You get Luongo, Morsey, and Kayuse in there, trying to really block it all off. And then 110. 110 playing off. And then you have the option Chaplin, Schmodix, Hutchinson. Who do you take out of those 3? Each bring their own qualities. I think Chaplin is more proven as a late arriver. Schmodix can make goals out of nothing. But what Hamari does, and why I've selected him in there, is going to be the ability to pick up the ball and drive. We saw it against Liverpool at moments. I feel like you need someone that can create that magical moment, that can unlock a defence. And if anyone's going to do that, it would be him. So this is how I would line up if this formation was to exist. It would be Hutchinson in the 10. Kayuse comes into the midfield instead of Chaplin. It just adds an extra body into the centre of the park, which could be important with the Man City lineup we're looking at. Now, Matthew's come in. I'm here. Hello, my friend. How are we doing? Schmodix starts today, I reckon. Maybe. It could definitely be the case. I've looked at a couple of graphics so far. One with a 4-back where he would play on the left 10. I think if we start a 5-back, he doesn't start. I think Chaplin starts over him. But I guess we'll see. I think McKenna would trust his system over anything else. So that's my view at least. But I definitely could see Schmodix. If you're playing a team like City, what do you need to do? You need to be clinical. And Schmodix is that. 27 goals last season, even picked up 2 at the start of this year, or 3 is it? I think it's 3 actually. He knows where the goal is, so he could well be the perfect choice to go in there, absolutely. Now, here is what I look on. I don't know the City team that well, how they play, so I've just chosen a predicted lineup on the internet. This is from the Standard, and they expect it to look like this. Rico Lewis at right back, who a lot of people are praising after last week. Diaz and Akanji. Now that's going to be a horrible day for Liam Delap. That will be a really, really hard test, having to push those two about. You could maybe see him running the channels a bit, trying to make Lewis's day, just a living hell. But if he's going up against those two, Diaz and Akanji, it's gonna be a nightmare. I hope he can just hold the ball up, bring people into play, and just give us those moments. Really, those moments just to get a shot off, have a half chance, and hopefully one. Hopefully one can squeeze in. Gvardiol at left back, I think that's fairly clear cut. You could maybe have a shout for Ake, but Gvardiol for me would start that too anyway. Rodri looks like he is out, so Kovacic most likely to start in that six. He had a fantastic game against Chelsea, so by no means is that a massive let off or anything. He's still an absolute danger. And then if you've got the absolute creativity of De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva in there, them two, not only technically gifted, not only incredible footballers, they work so hard. Whoever's in the middle of the park for us today is going to have a nightmare. It is not going to be a fun occasion, and I hope Morsi and whoever it is next to him is absolutely ready to take those on, because it's going to be a big, big challenge in there, probably the biggest of their careers today, which is one thing that's maybe really scary, but also that fires players up. You know, they're competitors for a reason. They're footballers are a special breed of people. I think they could get something out of this at certain points of the game. I'm not saying a result, but I think there'll be periods where Morsey does well and controls the play for a moment or whatever. And as I said, if you're playing a team like City, it's about taking those moments. Doku on the wing looks like Foden maybe could be Savinho. I saw that he was highly rated after the Chelsea game. Really, both could look very dangerous, but whoever's out on that right side is going to give Leif Davis hell. It's going to be a horrible day for Davis. I feel very sorry for Davis, to be honest. I get you're coming into the Premier League, you want to play the best and everything, but not many players individually will have a harder task than he has had on the first two game weeks. Having to mark potentially Salah and Foden, who was last year's Player of the Year, and if he's not there, it's Savinho, who's so direct, he's fantastic with the ball, he's technically gifted. He's going to have a torrid day again, so it's another big test for him. Hopefully he can come out on top in this one. He did for large parts of the game against Liverpool, and obviously difficulties come the 60th minute. It just shows how clinical a good team can be. But yeah, I really don't think many people would have had a more difficult man-to-man battle in their first two games of Premier League football than Leif Davis. He has played for Leeds before, to be fair, but you know what I mean. Haaland, though, speaks for itself. Absolute goal machine. He's going to be a horrible situation to deal with. Thankfully, we have Jacob Greaves, who I feel is that sort of centre back that can really, back up to an attacker, be aggressive. But of course, Haaland has his own qualities. I'm sure he will probably target Wolfenden as the less aggressive of the two centre backs. It's not to say Wolfenden's weak or anything like that, but I think Greaves would give him a physical battle, and Wolfenden will give him a different type of challenge. So I'm sure he'll shy away from that physical battle so he can bring people into play so he can do things, but that's what I'm saying there. First 20 important to try and get a foothold in the game. I agree. I think you see this a lot. Players have to hold their own for a bit. They can't maybe play that attacking crazy football that they used to, and definitely against a team like City, that's something that you shouldn't be doing. You do have to find different ways. I think I remember a game with Wolves, five at the back, hard to break down, and they won simply by Adama Traore breaking that right flank constantly, and he scored 2 goals. You have to stay compact and make moments for yourself, and that's exactly what we need to do today. I do think we'll play a 5 back. I think we'll make it difficult. I think we'll pop 2 in the middle of the park, and then I'm sure one of the 10s will probably tuck in a little bit more than usual just to create an extra body in there. If we go in at half time drawing, I'll be happy. I mean, I'd be the same. I think that's why we were so happy against Liverpool. It wasn't just the performance. It wasn't just for the first half that we were giving them a right old game. I think it's the fact that we prolonged them for so long. We stopped them from playing their football. We made it difficult for them. And that stands you in good stead for the Premier League. You need to do that. You need to be disruptive, and you need to take teams out of the game for periods and make it hard for them to do what they want to do. And I think McKenna's has that ability to do that as a coach. I think he has the ability to disrupt teams and by doing that create your own moments as a squad, create your own moments as a team that wants to try and push forward. He's an attacking coach, so having to adopt certain defensive play styles will be extremely difficult at times, but I think it'll be interesting to see how we do in this test. It'll be our first real challenge as a sit-in team, I feel, which will be an interesting one to take on. I do have some key battles just here. Three specifically, obviously, put any that you think could be also important in the comments because we'll discuss those too. But for me, initially, it doesn't really matter if it's Phil Foden or Savinho. Leif Davis was fantastic against Liverpool, but there's no shying away from the fact that there was difficult periods for him, and that's gonna be the case when you play Mo Salah, one of the best right wingers in the world. He will be persistent, he will be dominant at times, and it's gonna cause you a problem. So no shame in that. I think again it's a fantastic challenge for him. I was just saying I don't think you can have a much worse addition to the Premier League than facing two of the best right wingers. Foden, the Player of the Year last year. Salah been fantastic for many years now. So I think it'll be important. I don't think Leif Davis will get as many opportunities to push forward as usual. So it's now, you know, how good can he be defensively? We saw that against Liverpool in the first half. He was fantastic at locking down Salah. He was unbelievable. I'm not. He was. So I feel like he can defend. A lot of people say he can't. I don't think that's Ipswich fans so much. It's other fans just saying he's more of an attacker, so his defense must be shit. But I don't agree with that. I think he's a good defender. He's a good one-on-one defender, underrated in that perspective. And yeah, I guess we'll see. This is one for me that will be really important. Foden, of course, will be the one to dictate this game. And when you've got him, you've got Rico Lewis, and you've got um, Bernardo Silva, if that's the one that plays in that second centre mid spot out on that right side, it's going to be a horrible day for triangles and quick play. And that's just where we need to see Leif Davis switched on today. I think that'll be a really important battle. If Leif Davis can lock down Foden for large parts, yes, City have talents everywhere else, but that could be a really important one. Doku versus Axel, I agree. I think the fact that we've got Axel and he's a fantastic one-on-one defender. He's great at recovering, sort of recovery runs and catching players as well. And Doku's extremely fast, so that's important. We've seen Twanzebe do fantastic work in the Champions League for United against PSG. It's not to say that he locked down Mbappe, but he had a fantastic game in that game. And we know Doku generally, and we see this a lot, doesn't have the end product that you'd want. He's a fantastic dribbler. So again, if you can just lock him down to putting in half chance crosses and go to his weaker side and make it difficult, I think that could be a really important battle. I really agree with that one. I think I like that shout a lot. And I trust Axel to do a good job out there. I think I believe that he's got the capabilities both defensively and through his physicality, his speed, and everything to really lock players up and make it difficult for them. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons last week that Diaz didn't get much of a chance. I think between Wolfenden and him and Morsey coming across, they've done fantastic out there. So yeah, absolutely agree with that one. I think that's a great shout. We've got key battle number 2, which is for me Jacob Greaves versus Haaland. I am in love with Jacob Greaves. I can't lie. He is a fantastic defender. I think he looks so good. The way he was aggressing against Liverpool, the way he was getting in front of everything, he was blocking shots, he's putting his body on the line. I really think we have a top centre back with this fella. And of course, Haaland is going to have periods where he drifts between Greaves and Wolfenden and whoever it is in there. But Greaves, I think, He's got the physicality to deal with a lot of it. I think he can deal with aerial threats. I think he's a danger going forward also. I think, we saw from the Liverpool game how much we focused on him. It wouldn't surprise me to see. I've have this weird feeling that Greaves is going to score a goal today. I don't know why. I'm not saying we're going to win. I do see us maybe nicking a goal. I could see it being Greaves, corner, free kick, something like that, and just he looks a threat in the air. So very excited to see that. But Haaland, no doubt, going to be an absolute handful. You don't score 30 goals or whatever it is he's scored in the last 2 years by being mediocre. He's a fantastic player, and this really just is the challenge of all challenges. I mean, if Jacob Greaves can come out of today and say, I dealt with Erling Haaland, for me, the league is yours. You can go and do whatever you want. You're ready for the league. You can put to bed the questions. Are you ready? Can you deal with this? This is a top class attacker, and I think if he can get important touches into periods of this game, Jacob Greaves could really, really cause some problems. But I'm sure Erling Haaland will have something to say about that. But that's my second matchup. Now my third one, and maybe a bit of a cop out. I just think it's, if we're gonna get anything from this game, the goalkeeper has to be on top form. That's just how I see it. I don't see it any other way. I mean, Aro Muric is having he's looked good. He has looked good, but we know we're going to deal with, I'm going to say, 20 plus shots from the game. You're going to have to weather those storms. And as I said, if a team gets something against City, it's because there's been some standout performances, and I think that usually comes from a centre back or two and a goalkeeper. There has to be a bit of luck on your side as well. So I think this one is a basically just saying Ara Muric or Walton if Muric isn't ready, by the way. Could be either or. Just has to have an incredible game. I just think it has to be so outstanding. You can walk away with that and say, yeah, they had a 10 out of 10 performance. And I think this is why this would be a key battle for me. It's very difficult to go and do that, of course, to show up in that way, to be ready for that sort of performance. But I just don't see any other way. I think, as I said, I think we're going to see 20 plus shots towards us. Maybe not all on target, but a big chunk of them. If you defend well, you can sort of distribute those to being just around the box, late arriving in the box, things like that. But, it's always going to be through a sea of bodies. You need to get a little bit of luck with your deflections. You need to get a little bit lucky with a few on the crossbar, a few on the post. Literally, that's just how it is. It's just going to be so coin flip. If the keeper has a good game, luck will also be on his side. There's no doubt about it. You can't create all your own luck. And yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. I've been to a City game. I went with my mates, and I think it was them versus Southampton, probably like 3 years ago now. It was just a cheap game, going look, whilst we were up in Manchester for a night out, and City just had an off day. They just weren't as clinical. They weren't as potent, and I think they got a bit lucky with a VAR call onto a penalty or something, Southampton, and they got a 0-0 draw. So I've seen how teams can do it, but we know the Man City of now is so much more clinical, so much more dangerous. So we need to, just give it everything for this one. But that's my final key battle. That's kind of the end of what I've got for the pre-match of this specific game. We do have a last few bits. We'll just do a bit of transfer roundup and look at the squad now, because we have had some window. So if you have any suggestions, we can always come back round to it. If you have any Jules, you think the game will be, get that in the comment section. We'll get onto that. But we'll start with some squad depth. Now, this is assuming Clark and Broha come through. There has been conversation today that Broha's failed his medical. I don't tend to believe all these accounts until I see it personally. I think someone sent it to me from, I think it was Cruncher, saying that it's failed, but then also, been made aware that he suggested there was a double deal with Sheffield United for Hamer and everything, and that was debunked extremely quickly. So I don't think it was all necessarily true. Other reports say that he's just worked through. Deal off reported 15 minutes ago. Oh, okay. Let me try and find that one. Let's have a little read through of that. Broha. Is that from a... Oh, so people are saying it's not a medical, but it's paperwork issues. What does that even mean? Is this the Jacob Steinberg story? Is it that one? Sorry, I've been live for the last half an hour, so I haven't been on Twitter looking at all this stuff. Jacob Steinberg is the only one I can see. A lot of people put two together, but paperwork issues have nothing to do with anything. Chelsea's end simply unlikely to be a final agreement between Ipswich and Broha. I think it's always going to be difficult. I think the player has to be extremely happy to join and everything. So, okay, even if Broha's not on, I'm sure we'll have other players as an idea in the pipeline. A lot of fans even suggested that the 30 million obligation to buy was a risky and dangerous thing, but that's fine. We'll see what goes with that. I'm sure if it's paperwork and not medical, it can be ironed out, but we'll see. So, okay, from this graphic, just ignore Armando Broja, and then it's exactly the same. I can't believe the Clark deal is closed, so I hope that gets announced today. That'll be a fantastic piece of business. What an addition. Also, you have McKenna saying he wanted two in each position. We tend to have that now. Obviously, if he wants another striker, that will be another one to come in. But yeah, I think we're already looking for someone else. Yeah, I don't think Broja would have been a, all or nothing deal. I think there would have been other ones lined up, suggested. But okay, I'm not sure who else would go for, but I'm sure there are people ready for a loan, ready for an opportunity. I'll be interested to see that. But yeah, what a squad this is. Schmodik's coming in, Hutchinson on a permanent. I think we can't shy away from how good of a piece of business that is. How we kept Hutchinson when he was getting European offers from Netherlands, I think it was, from Germany with Stuttgart. That's an incredible piece of business. Also, within like a day, we had Phillips and Kayuste coming in midfield. Absolutely huge piece of business. Really strengthened up that midfield. I can't wait to see what Phillips could do. That one will be really, really interesting. Townsend, probably the saddest of the bunch, should we say? But what are you going to do when you know Leif Davis is going to be starting every single game? When you know Leif Davis is the first choice, it's hard to get someone to come in and be back up, and to get someone with a bit of Prem experience and just a seasoned professional come in on such a cheap deal. I'm never going to turn my nose up at that. I think that's a really astute piece of business. Greaves looks fantastic so far. So happy with him. And then look at the rest of this. I mean, Wolfend and Otwanzebe in there, Muric or Walton. Walton done fantastic against Liverpool, so if he ends up needing to play games, I feel happy with that. Broadhead, when he comes back, will be amazing. Same with Clark. I think this squad looks fantastic. I cannot wait to see what it can do. And the first real test for me would be Fulham. Today is a bit of a free hit, so we just take it from where it is. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. I think it's been a fantastic win. I really can't turn my nose up at anything. I would give this window an A plus. Obviously, if Broha did come in, I'm sure we'll get another striker, so that probably won't change. It has been everything that we needed from a window, and everything after that. I'm so happy with how it's gone. Don't think I could have had better confidence at this point. I really don't. Right. Now let's just do the last bit of transfer roundup. Now I haven't got all the figures in front of me, so bear with me if I make a little bit of a mistake here, but I think we have a general idea of what each thing is worth. So, deal number one, Amari Hutchinson, 20 million or 18 million maybe with some add-ons, I think it was up to 22. What a piece of business, as I've just said. I cannot believe we've got this kid. This is unreal. Absolutely outstanding piece of business. Absolutely outstanding that we get to witness this guy play at Portman Road again. This was the deal to kick off the transfer window, and it got everyone excited. It was fantastic. On top of that, you then got Benny Johnson coming in. Yes, there's been a few question marks so far, but he'll be working his way into the system, getting used to things, so I don't see that as a problem. I think on a free transfer, he's a great piece of business to give us some Premier League experience, strengthen us up a bit, and offer us another fantastic option. So I'm so happy with this one. Free deal. Can't complain about that one at all. Then you've got Jacob Greaves. Now this is the pick of the lot for me. £15 million for this man is an absolute joke. This guy is going to play for England. This guy is going to be playing Champions League football, Europa League football, whatever, very soon, in my opinion. He is a fantastic centre back. I cannot believe we've picked this guy up. This is the pick of the transfer window for me. I honestly think we couldn't have done a lot better than this for the amount of money that we spent. That is an unreal piece of business. Mark Ashton strikes again on this one. That is unreal. Now, a lot of talk about this one being maybe a bit too expensive. 15 million plus 5. Yes, I felt it was a bit expensive initially too, not going to lie. But from what I've seen in pre-season and that game against Liverpool, only fills me with confidence that this guy is going to do okay this season, that he can step up to the Prem. Love to see him add a couple of goals here or there, but definitely want to see him kick off his account as soon as possible so he's not waiting for that. I feel that only plays on your mind and makes things more difficult as a striker. But that touch from Quansah, Arne Slot said that he was literally our only outlet and he had to nullify him. That's why he pulled Quansah in that game, just to get rid of any threat that we had. This guy offered it. So, what a player. He showed himself in a great line against Liverpool, and I cannot wait to see what else he can do. It's going to be another test today against his former team now, and I think he'll be fired up for that. I think he'll really be fired up for that, and out of respect, he'll want to do well, and I think it'll be a bit of an occasion for him. Now, this one is a deal. £8 million, I think this was. Ara Muric from Burnley. For me, wrongly benched last year by Trafford. Outrageous decision by Burnley. I've seen people suggest that if Muric played every game, they may have stayed up. I'm a bit of the same. I think he's a fantastic keeper. Do I think there will be an embarrassing moment or two for Muric this season? Yes. But do I think what he offers is more important? Yes. So I don't care if he gets lobbed from the halfway line. I don't care. Whatever, on a couple of occasions, I think you run that risk. But he'll offer that extra man. He'll be able to push us up the pitch. I think he'll be a really important player for us. I think he's a fantastic addition for 8 million, and I think his goalkeeping ability is fantastic as well. So I can't wait to see what he can do. Hopefully, he can play today. He was in all my predicted lineups. There is a chance he didn't play. He didn't play against Liverpool, but I do think he was just a slim miss for Liverpool, so I don't see why he wouldn't play today instead. So, yeah, what a piece of business that is. That is unreal. After that, we've talked about it already. Won't go into too much detail, but for 500k, brilliant. Can't complain. Adds depth. Does what you need. He'll come in. He's looked good against Nice. Got forward against Nice when he came on in the preseason game, so very happy with that. This, however, started and was probably in the middle of actually a big pause in transfers. Business wasn't getting done. Ipswich fans were getting hasty, but then soon comes along these boys. Sammy Schmodix. Was it 9 million plus a few add-ons? Brilliant piece of business. Championship top scorer. I'm sure he'll pick up a goal or two here. That will be really important for us. So I think that's a brilliant piece of business. Calvin Phillips. If we can get McKenna to discover that ability, that quality, he is going to be unreal. I can't wait to see what he can do. I think he will rediscover his best form with us. I think he will play against Wimbledon for maybe 60 minutes and then the full Fulham game or something like that. I think he'll come back in very quickly and we'll know him to be the second in that pivot role as a general thing throughout the season. Very big acquisition now. I don't think anyone could have expected that was going to be the case. Yet here we are with a Morsey and Calvin Phillips double pivot. Let's go. On top of that, very quickly after, you had the loan deal from Napoli, Jens Cajuste. From what I've seen, I'm very excited for this one. I think he could be fantastic. McKenna has stated that he seems to think he will be more of a double pivot in there rather than the 8 that we saw at Napoli, or that he was used to at Napoli. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think McKenna working with a young talent is always exciting. Absolutely beautiful. As I said, the whole transfer window, I can keep going, is literally 10 out of 10 to me. A+, whatever you want to call it. It is unreal. And once you got them to a midfield, you got this deal. This deal broke 2 nights ago. Wow. Jack Clark for a 20 million package, 15 million initially. Top talent. I think he's 23 years old. He's direct. He drives with the ball. He's a fantastic player. I can't believe we got him for that cheap. That's a really fantastic deal. It sounds like Clark on the other side was the one instigating it, not putting in transfer requests or anything, but he was just very determined to play Premier League football, and that's why they ultimately accepted it all. And for us, that's only a win. What a signing that will be. I'm hoping that gets announced today. By the way, I think that'll be important to get this one over the line. The Broha deal sounds potentially like, yeah, maybe, but this one really good. Broha, I was really excited for this one personally. Sounds like maybe there are some issues here now, so guess we'll see what happens there, but we'll put this one to the side for the moment. See if that goes through the other way. But then you've just got finally the last bit of this video. Dara O'Shea, Anel Ahmedhodzic, both fantastic additions, both fantastic players. If they do come in, I think both around the £10 million mark from what I've heard. It's going to be that sort of fee. Both fantastic. Again, getting that for like 10 million. I think both offer something. Both have a bit of Premier League experience as well. So let me know what you think. Who you would prefer out of those two? Both fantastic options to come in. Both fantastic to strengthen our defence that little bit more. I'm very happy, and I think that would then hint towards a bit more of 5-back football at times in the season to have those options. But that rounds off your transfer window. This is what was confirmed, or at least believed to be confirmed. Broha you can take out of that now, but look at that window. For me, A+, unbelievable. Can't wait to see what they can all do. Very excited for City. I cannot wait to see what we have ahead of us today. So that is it as far as I'm here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. going through your questions, discussing things. It's been an unreal process of being on the Premier League from Liverpool to this. I cannot wait to see what today offers. But thank you all for watching. I will come back again soon for another pre-match show. I'm sure about it. But for now, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Let's get excited for City. If you're there, cheer them on. I hope it's going to be a fantastic occasion. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Have a lovely rest of the day. Until next time, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.